Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to this, very interesting first virtual session for the Rivers of Life festival that we are organizing at the Azim Premji University. My name is Shashwat DC, and I'm part of the university team. And we are very, for the past this festival that we have kickstarted today, called as Rivers of Life, is basically a celebration about rivers and the role that they play in our lives, everyday lives, right? From economics to environment to emotions and everything. So this whole festival has been organized at our Bangalore campus to give people a sense, a flavor of what rivers are all about, and what discussions that we can have around them. And as a very important part of that thing, today we have with us Dr. Mansee Lal Bhargava, who's here with us today from Wednesdays for Water. She has been spearheading a movement that has been creating a lot of conversations around conservation in that sense. So she has been a researcher, entrepreneur with a PhD from Rotterdam, Europe. So her whole focus has been to bring everyday conversation, get citizens associated in this whole movement around water conservation. So, without much ado, let me hand over the stage to Dr. Bhagava. Just one quick thing to all our viewers. You can, if you have any questions or queries, you can type in the live chat box, and we can take them afterwards. And as usual, I'll invite everyone to be at the campus from November 2nd, that's today, to the 16th, to enjoy the Rivers of Life Festival. Thank you so much. Over to you. Yeah, yeah, just
Thanks, Shashwat. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Wednesdays for Water, and which is a W4W Foundation, a think tank built as Citizens Collective, we welcome you to another session of Wednesdays for Water. As already mentioned by Shashwat, that it's a water conversation series towards improving our understanding of the nuances of water conservation and management in the country. The objective is to engage with water experts, grassroots practitioners, policymakers, and particularly with the youth to learn their thoughts, their ideas about the complex issues of water and the possible solutions. We have expanded to more activities like Friday Waters, Monday Munching with Women for Water, besides organizing workshops, water walks and talks, seminars, special courses like this, which is now live today from Azim Premji University, and conference panels. More about us can be found at www.w4w.in. As already mentioned, we are live from Azim Premji University to celebrate the Rivers of Life initiative with young souls. So, first of all, I thank Azim Premji University Bangalore for hosting us, yeah, as a team of W4W Foundation, and particularly thanks to Professor Vidya Ramesh for coordinating yeah, to have us here. And I also thank my fellow Astrom scholar, Professor Harini Nagendra, my co-traveler also in the subject of water and commons. So today we discuss future of water and youth. That's the whole purpose to come over here and understand from the youth what they see, how they really look at water in general and environment, and particularly river, because of the project they handled. Especially this initiative, we want to understand from them whether they really feel for the environment, how do they feel about rivers, and what are their concerns or appreciations. So I'm joined today by a very young and versatile group, and also spanning across the country. So I have Raisha Kashyap from Patna, Bihar. Of course, physically here, but she hails from Patna, Bihar. She's a second year English major at the university, and she studied the river Ganga for the stretch of Patna in this project. And we have, hello, Raisha. So, welcome to this conversation. Then I have Nitya Mehra from Agra. She's third year political science honor student at Delhi University. So we are not limited as our participants from one university. So we are already going national in this context. And she documented Yamuna at Agra stretch. Then we have Siddhartha Natarajan, and he's a second year history student at the university here. And he covered efforts to revive the very difficult name for me, by the way, Kondan Canal in Tiruchirappalli at Tamil Nadu. उसके बाद I have Lalita फ्रॉम गंजुम उड़ीसा एंड उन्होंने काम किया है दक्षिण फाउंडेशंस, वो काम करती हैं अभी दक्षिण फाउंडेशंस और कोस्टल कम्युनिटी एज अ रिसोर्स पर्सन एंड वो एक फिशरमैन कम्युनिटी को बिलोंग भी करती हैं जो डिपेंड करते हैं ऋषि कुल्या रिवर पे। इसके साथ हमारे साथ और भी हैं बडू राजम्मा जो वो भी गंजुम उड़ीसा से हैं और वो भी दक्षिण फाउंडेशन में काम करती है एज अ कोस्टल ग्रास रूट फेलो। और उन्होंने भी हाईलाइट किया है फिशरमैन्स की कम्युनिटी पे अपने प्रोजेक्ट में और उनका भी जीवन रिवर ऋषिकुल्या पे डिपेंडेंट है उनकी फैमिली का। तो आप लोग सभी को वेलकम एंड गुड इवनिंग। So as we discussed, we will take few rounds of question with you about the project, how we have gone. So we'll go one by one in the order which I discussed and introduced you all. So once again, thank you for taking out time for Wednesdays for Water. And first question comes to Raisha. What is the project which you worked on, and what is the nearest, and how far do you live from the river? So over to you, Raisha.
Thank you, Mansee. Can you hear me?
You have to be a little louder, I guess.
Okay. Am I audible now?
You are audible, but it is very feeble, huh?
So sorry for that. So yeah, I'm Raisha, and thank you for the humble introduction. I worked with Rivers of Life during my summer for my summer internship, and I covered Ganga, especially the stretch around three ghats in Patna. And I think this spanned over, say, 15 kilometers of distance. To be like from my place, it's not very far, so it was very easy for me, honestly, to go and witness all of the on ground happenings near Ganga. It's just a stretch of 2 to 3 kilometers. So, yeah, so basically, in my documentation, I studied and found out why and how the Ganga is shifting away from the city. And in my findings, I realized, and through articles as well that I read, I found out that Ganga since 1990s has shifted permanently for about 7 to 10 kilometers in different, ranging differently in different areas. So it's shifted 7 to 10 kilometers away from the original shoreline that it had skirting the city of Patna. So, and these are, upon research, we realized that this is primarily because of unsustainable infrastructure that has literally pushed away the mighty river. Like it has, it's that impactful that the biggest, the largest and longest river in India has been pushed away like that, almost 7 to 10 kilometers from the city. So yeah, these unsustainable infrastructure projects, some of which include government sanctioned bridges and pools that have been made on Ganga across the stretch. So yeah, basically these were the reasons. Some of the side reasons that came up were digging up or the sand mining of Ganga's bed for construction across the city. So I also realized that the finest soil or sand that's available, uh, for construction of buildings in the city comes from Ganga, which is called Ganga Balu uh, in local language. So can you hear me, right? Because I'm
Okay,
echoing.
yes, I hear you. Maybe we
Yeah.
go quickly first round with
Sure.
everyone so that we can take other questions also. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you, Raisha. Nitya, how is Agra doing with its river?
It's. I think it is sad to see the position of Yamuna because, well, if we say how the river is doing, well, there has to be a river to, in the
To
first
do
place, to say how a river is doing.
yes.
So Yamuna is practically dead at Agra because the oxygen levels, even the most recent records say that the oxygen level in Agra Yamuna is zero. And the amount of pollutants, apparently, it's not me who's saying that, it's the researchers who found out that uh, it's the most toxic river globally.
Yes, it is among the
So
most polluted part, huh?
yeah, I mean, and specifically the Agra region, it is considered to be the most polluted part of a river across the globe. So yeah, my study was around that and how even the surrounding spaces of Yamuna are so badly polluted. You can literally find, and in fact, if you go even closer, you'll be able to walk on the plastic and the leather shreds that uh, have been lying there for so many years. And the fact that there are so many dams and they have the the stoppage of water is so unsustainable that when I was doing my research, I could literally walk on the riverbed of Yamuna, which is now dry.
With your nose
So
closed.
I believe there is some issue with the audio because
I'm saying you walked on the river bed with your nose closed.
ah no well, in places yes I was, but probably after a point I got used to the to the smell, so I didn't feel it after a point. But yeah.
Okay. Let us hear from Siddharth. Do you have the similar experience, or you have something very nice to tell us about your canal?
Uh, so first of all, good evening, Mansee. Thank you for having me on this talk. And so the Uyakondan is a 1,000-year-old agricultural canal, which was dug out of the Kaveri by the Cholas. It is approximately 80 kilometers long, of which only 10 kilometers flow through the city of Trichy. And those 10 kilometers are terribly polluted. So I can actually relate to a lot of what Nitya has been saying about uh, his work along the Yamuna. However, when I was looking at the origin of the canal, and as it flows out of the city, it gets a little cleaner. I could see how the biodiversity has tremendously improved. And it was really good to see uh, the change in the life forms that the river could support. And I also worked with an organization called Citizens for Yukondan. It is a citizens movement, as the name suggests, and they aim to revive the canal's original biodiversity. So they are a collaboration of private citizens, organizations, and the government. And I spent quite some time interacting with their members and looking at their work. And I must say that the work they've been doing is extremely inspiring. So I hope
Nice.
that someday the canal will, in fact, go back to its original state.
We hope too, because we have to be optimistic to be working on the environment, because we are all the ones who are polluting them. So there is no one coming from other planet or other place than the urban people who are polluting them. So let us hear a little bit, because of all the three cases were urban. तो हम जब ललिता एंड राजम्मा से सुनेंगे तो शायद हमें कुछ अलग कहानी मिलेगी, क्योंकि उनका शायद रूरल लैंडस्केप है, तो हमको कुछ अलग सुनने को मिलेगा। तो ललिता और राजम्मा, आपने अभी सुना आपके फेलो स्टूडेंट्स ने जो कहा, उनका एक्सपीरियंस अर्बन रिवर्स का कैसा है। आप अपना थोड़ा शेयर करिए आपका रिवर, क्योंकि वहाँ आप लोग तो अभी भी लाइवलीहुड उस पर डिपेंडेंट हैं। ललिता, अनम्यूट करो बच्चे। हाँ, अनम्यूट कर लो अपने आप को।
Ah, the Ruskula River is one of the major river in the state. ओडिशा के दो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कंधमाल और गंजाम से रुस्कुला रिवर कवर होता है। और ये रुस्कुला रिवर दारिंगोबाड़ी हिल्स, जिसको कश्मीर ऑफ ओडिशा भी बोलते हैं, यहाँ से रुस्कुला रिवर स्टार्ट होता है। और ये सब तो ज्यादा है, लेकिन क्या सब कुछ बोल सकती हूँ?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, जो मन में है वो बोल दो। हाँ, दिल की बात
ओके
कहो।
ओके। तो हम लोग जहाँ पे रहते हैं गंजाम एरिया में, वहाँ पे कुछ कोस्टल एरिया रहता है, जैसे कि पुराना बंगाव, साना नुआ गांव, बड़ा नुआ गांव और गंजाम एरिया। और ये सब एरिया से लेकर हमारा रुशकुले रिवर है। और वहाँ हम लोग जो इलाके में रहते हैं वो एक माउथ एरिया है, मतलब सी और रिवर का मिड प्लेस है।
हाँ।
और तो इसके साथ हम लोग यहाँ के जो फिशरमैन्स हैं, ये सब फिशरमैन्स एंड फार्मर्स एग्रीकल्चर जो, ये सब रिवर्स के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हैं। फिर रिवर तो यहाँ पे हम फिशरमैन जो उनका कुछ वर्क है, जैसे कि उन लोग कैसे मछली पकड़ते हैं और क्या करते हैं, मतलब उनका फैमिली का बैकग्राउंड के बारे में हम लोग यहाँ पे बोले हैं। तो ऋषिकुल्य रिवर एक विश्व में प्रसिद्ध ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स के ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स वहाँ जैसे कि विश्व प्रसिद्ध स्थान है ऋषिकुल्य रिवर, जहाँ पे क्या हुआ कि 6 to 7 month फिशरमैन को ऋषिकुल्य रिवर एंड ऑल्सो मीट एरिया जैसे कि रिवर एंड समुंदर 10 किलोमीटर उत्तर साइड, दक्षिण साइड और आगे भी समुद्र के आगे जहाँ पे बैन किया गया है, जिसके दौरान 6 to 7 month फिशरमैन्स को मतलब घर चलाना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है।
हाँ,
मुश्किल हो जाता है,
तो
तो
ये
इसके बारे में
राजम्मा ऐड कर देगी इसमें, आपके साथ राजम्मा ऐड कर देगी, है ना?
हाँ ना, हाँ यार
राजम्मा कुछ
जी,
ऐड
उसको
करेंगी आप जो ललिता कहती है?
उसको तो हिंदी
हाँ
नहीं
जी,
आती है मैम, नो प्रॉब्लम, मैं ही बोल दूंगी। तो इसके
ओके,
लिए
नो,
बैन होता है, जिसके दौरान उनको क्या होता है कि फिश पकड़ने के लिए बैन होता है। तो जो ट्रेडिशनल बोट होता है ना मैम, तो
जी,
इससे उन लोग क्या करते हैं कि फिशिंग करने जाते हैं, तो यहाँ पे भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता है कि मछली भी ज्यादा नहीं मिलता है। कुछ नेट्स है जो जो बड़े बड़े नेट्स, जैसे कि नेट्स का नेम गट्टी चब्बू, म्यूट चे, डिस्को नेट्स और हाँ और कुछ है नेट्स, परवन नेट्स और जालर नेट्स, कुछ नेट्स का नेम है जो कि बैन किए गए हैं, क्योंकि इसके द्वारा टर्टल्स को भी मतलब नुकसान हो सकता है। तो इसमें ही क्या हो कि उनको ज्यादा मछली मिलता है। तो ये सब बैन के कारण उन लोग खुद का गांव, खुद का घर, खुद का समुंदर और रिवर सब छोड़कर वो बाहर माइग्रेशन होते हैं। फिर वहां पे उन लोग कंस्ट्रक्शनल वर्क जो हार्ड वर्क वो सब काम कर कर खुद का फैमिली मेंटेनेंस करते हैं, एक दिन के खाने के लिए। तो ये एक है जो कि मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ। ये सब ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स के वहां पे तो विश्व प्रसिद्ध स्थान है कि वो उन लोग लाखों से ज्यादा ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स वहां पे आते हैं और अंडा देते हैं। वो एक बहुत मतलब फेमस प्लेस है। लेकिन इसके द्वारा फिशरमैन का ऊपर भी इफेक्ट होता है। और इसके साथ साथ वहां पे ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स नहीं होंगे तो जेलीफिश जो है वो समुद्र में और नदियों में ज्यादा होंगे। तो ऑलिव रिडले जो टर्टल्स रहते हैं वो जेलीफिश खाते हैं। जो जेलीफिश यदि और टर्टल्स ही वहां पे नहीं रहेंगे तो जेलीफिश का वंश वो बढ़कर जाएगा, जिसके द्वारा वो जो ब्रीडिंग प्लेस है, कहाँ पे जो माउथ एरिया है वहां पे उनका ब्रीडिंग प्लेस है मछली मछली फिश का, और जितना भी जलचर के रहते हैं जैसे कि प्रॉन्स और क्या बोलते हैं प्रॉन्स, और उसके साथ टर्टल्स के भी। तो ये सब क्या होता है कि वहां पे जब जेली फिश रहता है तो वहां के छोटे छोटे फिश है वो खा लेते हैं, तो वो भी उसका प्रॉब्लम होता है। तो हम लोग को यहाँ पे टर्टल्स भी रहना इम्पोर्टेंट है, उसके साथ साथ फिशरमैन का कुछ बैन होना भी इम्पोर्टेंट है। लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जब 6 to 7 मंथ उनका जो बैन होता है तो उनको फैमिली मेंटेनेंस करना, उनको खाने के प्रॉब्लम बहुत सारे होते हैं, तो वो माइग्रेशन होता है। तो इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट भी कुछ स्कीम्स रखे हैं, जैसे कि सेविंग स्कीम, जिसको 6 7 2 मंथ के लिए ओनली 7,500 उनको मिलता है। वो भी उन जिसका लाइसेंस रहता है और एक वोट को ही। ये एक प्रॉब्लम है जो कि अरे 6 to 7 मंथ 7,500 उनको कहाँ हो सकता है। तो इसलिए उन लोग खुद का गांव, खुद का एरिया छोड़कर माइग्रेशन होते हैं। यहाँ का एक स्टोरी भी हम लोग जान पाए, जो ऋषिकुल्य रिवर जब हम काम किए तो नॉर्मली इसके बारे में ही हम काम किए थे, लेकिन धीरे धीरे और एक स्टोरी है, जैसे कि 1965 to 67 से 67 में, मतलब अभी को 55 ईयर्स से 57 बैक एक स्टोरी था, जिसमें हम लोग के ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स ऋषिकुल्य रिवर के पास एक इंडस्ट्री है, तो वो इंडस्ट्री से एक गंदगी केमिकल वाटर रिवर में फ्लो होता है। उस फ्लो होता था, तो जब वो होता था तो वो रिवर्स के वाटर बहुत गंदगी होती थी, वहाँ के फिश भी मर जाते थे, और वहाँ के लोग के भी बहुत सारे हेल्थ इश्यूज भी आते थे, एग्रीकल्चर फार्म, वहाँ के क्रॉप्स के भी, मतलब जो कि हेल्थ के लिए अच्छा नहीं, वो सब भी खराब हो जाते थे। तो इसके लिए भी बहुत सारे, मैं जिससे इंटरव्यू ली थी उनके नाम थे गोविंद सर, गोविंद पंडा, जो कि वो एक ही इंसान है, मतलब तब उस टाइम के, जिसके हम इस बारे में हम उनसे पता चला। तो ये सब उन लोग बोले थे, फिर वो कोर्ट तक गए थे, पिटिशन फाइल भी हुआ था। फिर वहां के 1963 इयर्स के बाद 1967 में रूल्स के कोर्ट के रूल्स के हाँ, देन उसके बाद क्या होता है कि इंडस्ट्री का जो गंदगी जो फ्लो होता था, वो डायरेक्टली वो नहीं छोड़कर उसको रिसाइकल कर कर अब छोड़े। तब से अभी तक वैसे ही चल रहा है। और उसकी उससे क्या हुआ था कि कुछ फिश है, जैसे कि रेड क्रैब भी था, जो कि तब मिल रहा था, अभी नहीं मिल रहा है। कुछ फिश भी है जो कि तब मिल रहा था लेकिन अभी नहीं मिल रहा है, कैट्स फिश जो बोलते हैं उसको। तो वो फिश भी अभी बहुत मिलता है, लेकिन बहुत कम मिलता है। और एक मुलेट फिश, वो भी एक टाइम था कि बहुत सारा मिलता था, लेकिन 50 इयर्स बैक की बात है, लेकिन अभी कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा है। मड क्रब, वो भी अभी नहीं मिल रहा है, बहुत कम मिल रहा है। और उसके साथ साथ रुस्कुलिया रिवर का जो ओसारो बोलते हैं, गभीर गभीर, वो गभीर भी अभी बहुत कम हो गया। लोग अभी पानी भी बहुत, मतलब मतलब ओसारो को ओसर, उसका ओसर बढ़ रहा है, लेकिन गंभीरता उसका कम होकर गया है। थैंक यू, उतना ही।
ओके, वेरी गुड। सो आई थिंक बाकी चीजें हम अगले राउंड में लेंगे। व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू सी हियर कि आप लोग सभी ने
हम्म।
यू शोड योर कंसर्न्स। हाँ, व्हाट इज द रिवर अबाउट, आपके कंसर्न्स क्या है। आई एम श्योर जिस बिफोर डूइंग द रिवर्स ऑफ लाइफ प्रोजेक्ट आप रिवर को ऐसे नहीं देखते थे जैसा आपने देखा, या what you have experienced during the project. So maybe we quickly go around, and I will request all of you to keep it really short with your responses so that we can really have a good round of discussions. Quickly go around, what did you do in the project, and what are your key takeaways from the project? So maybe Raisha, we again start with you. What was the Rivers of Life project for you, and what are the key takeaways, or how do you feel associated with the river than before? I'm sure you were seeing the river before also, before doing the project, but your perspective to see the project may have changed. Sorry, see the river may have changed after this project. So what was your project, what were you working on, and how did it change your perspective? Raisha?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, go
Better?
ahead. Yeah.
Um, okay, so as I already said in my first round of answers, that I worked with Ganga and I documented how it's shifted away and how
Yes.
basically
What is
anthropogenic
your
reasons
learning
have,
then? Learning then, what
sorry,
should we do as humans?
sorry,
What is your learning? What should we do as
yeah,
humans if
yeah.
we are changing those things? What do you think we should do?
I think we should always keep in mind, and we should definitely never forget, that the balance between humans and nature is a very fragile thing, and it can tip at any moment. And the moment it does, it's bad for both. And this balance also is maintained from our side. So, one key learning that I took away from the whole experience of my internship was that, it's both a give and take relation. We can't just keep relying on rivers for water, for agriculture, and for fishes, or for biodiversity that comes out of river. We also have to keep giving back to rivers, in the sense that we have to keep them protected, we have to keep them flowing, we have to keep them clean, to say the least.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
So I see, Nitya, you already can imagine that you have also worked on the project, and I'm sure you have seen the river before also, before doing this project. But do you really feel now more associated with the river, or do you think there are some key takeaways which you can add? What Raisha was talking about, how do we really go from here? the society. Now we know the problem. What are your learnings, personal learnings?
Yeah. My audio is clear.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, while starting my internship, I realized that this relationship with the river Yamuna rejuvenated when I was writing and presenting my plan for uh, this project. So yeah, I would certainly get reminded of the time when my grandfather would ask me to accompany him to look at the Yamuna, to watch the Yamuna river flow during the monsoon when it got really near flooding. Uh, and suddenly one day when I get this opportunity knocking at my door, I feel I feel all of a sudden, where is this now? I mean, no mention of Yamuna, no monsoon, no flooding. Where is all that? Then I suddenly, this reel plays in my mind for all those years that I was not in Agra. I would always travel out because I studied out of Agra, so I would always cross that place. So I would remember that a river that used to flow with all its might is not even visible nowadays. So over the past, say, 8 years, the flow has only gotten less and less, and because of
You know why?
that,
Do you know why? Is it something happening in the upstream?
yeah. So the thing is, the unsustainable stoppage of water. The stoppage starts in Haryana, because there is this Hathani Kund barrage, and then from Wazirabad, at Okhla, at Gokul, at Mathura, all these places have certain storage of water of Yamuna. And apparently, by the time it comes to Agra, it basically is it's dry. So what's flowing in Agra? And again, I asked local activists over here in Agra about what exactly is composed in the water, that whatever meager levels of water it has. I mean, it is not even to my knee, the depth. So I asked them, and they said that it's just the water that we receive from the waterworks, and waterworks gets it from the supply from Ganga. So it is
Yes.
basically Ganga water being supplied to all of Agra city, and then that water gets used in the households, and then it comes to the Yamuna as drains.
What we dispose from there.
Yeah. Basically, there is no Yamuna water in Yamuna. It is Ganga water that is used by the city
May I
residents.
request other participants to please mute themselves? Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Nitya. Hmm.
Yeah. So, uh, my key takeaways are, well, to be sensitive. If I was reminded of all those years I passed from above that bridge over Yamuna, uh, it it wouldn't have come to me had I not observed it. But apparently I wasn't sensitive enough to remember it.
Yes,
And as
you
soon as
really nailed
this,
it, huh? You nailed it. That you we have to remember it that it is there.
yeah, I mean, as soon as I heard about this and the fact that I'll have to tell my idea, I didn't get up from my chair. It all came back to me
Imagine that.
right where I was sitting.
You can
And this is
imagine now
something
people like us who work on water, how we feel all
true.
time.
Uh, Correct. And that's a thing with us. I mean, all of us, I believe, I don't think anyone who resides in Agra doesn't know what is happening to Yamuna, but I believe no one is sensitive enough to actually do something or even so much as speak about it. Because I've never had
Absolutely.
Yamuna in conversations.
You know, when we talk about river, I'm sure you have all come through this Rivers of Life project, May, that let the river flow. When we stop the flow of the river, we start the problem of the river. And you have rightly mentioned for Agra, but when we have an irrigation system which is supposed to flow between the areas, We hear from Siddhartha, how is the canal doing now with this 80-kilometer canal? Is it flowing the way it should flow? Because these canals are almost now an alternate river system. So, Siddharth, what was your learning during the Rivers of Life project? Because you may have seen the difference between the stretch of the canal in Trichy and outside the Trichy, right? As you mentioned. What are your key takeaways? What can we do as society?
Well, uh, I mean, one thing about the canal was that it's been polluted for as far as anyone can remember. So my father grew up in the city, and he actually recalls that traveling
Uh-huh.
over the canal several times and thinking that it was just another of those open drains.
Okay.
And only when I started interacting with this organization, and when I found out about the work they've been doing for the past 6 or so years, did I realize about the historic importance of this canal. Because for uh, many years it was one of the major sources of water for the city, which lay at a higher altitude than the Kaveri River. And one amazing thing for me as a student of history was that this canal was more than 100 kilometers long originally. And it was completely built by hand, which was
Yes.
about 1,000 years
Easily
ago.
constructed.
So if you just think about the technology that was used and the fact that they've planned it in such a way that it has a 9 to 12-degree tilt, which allows for easier irrigation because the water
By
flow is slower,
gravity. By
and
gravity.
it, right, by gravity, and it also allows for the groundwater tables to recharge as the river is flowing, because they've essentially slowed down its flow. And also, because of the kind of tools they had, which were completely manual, they had to completely exploit the natural terrain. So
Yes.
they've raised banks at some places, they've dug in other places. And another thing is, if you look at modern dams, you have the extreme problem of silting, which
Yes.
reduces a dam's life. But what I saw was that at one point ahead of the city, there was actually a dam which was, I think, 300 or 400 years old. And what I was told by the local people there was that at that point, and this was, I think, the Nayakas, but the Nayakas and Cholas before them had designed a special set of sluice gates which could be opened underwater in order to flush out silt.
Field flow.
So it's really ingenious if you think about how these ancient kingdoms have planned out their technology when they lacked a lot of these power tools and other energy sources that we have today.
Let me ask you a very little question on that. What do you think people were using other than head and heart? Or sorry, head and hand. What was I think I already answered it. People were using their heart, apart from head and hand, by the way. And rightly mentioned by Nitya already that we need to be sensitive. So actually, we have been not using our heart enough in doing water management, unfortunately, of late. So let us find out. I need to ask Rajamma, would you like to speak in English, or because you said you are not comfortable in Hindi, or you want to
No,
have
ma'am.
some other language? You want to
Telugu
speak in
audio ma'am language.
Acha, Telugu, Odia. So, agar if I ask you in English, will you be able to answer in local language? और हिंदी में
Local.
पूछेंगे तो बोल पाओगे आपकी भाषा में?
थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी आया था.
थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी आएगा, थोड़ा में ही बोलो, ठीक है? आप बताओ आपने क्या सीखा ये प्रोजेक्ट करने के बाद, रिवर्स ऑफ लाइफ प्रोजेक्ट जो किया, आपका सबसे बड़ा ज्यादा लर्निंग्स क्या है? आप उड़िया में भी बोल सकते हो और हिंदी में भी मिला के बोलो।
ओडिया में बोल.
उड़िया में बोलो। हाँ।
रुस्किला रिवर में मैम अगर आगे मैं रुस्किला नदी पाखरे थिले किंतु से सब जानि नथिले. एबे रुस्किला नदी के जायकरी फोटो ରିଭର ଉପରେ ଚର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିଥିବାରୁ ଅଧିକ ଜାଣିଥିଲି ଫିସରମ୍ୟାନ କେମିତି ହାର୍ଡ ୱାର୍କ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କେମିତି ଏଗ୍ରିକଲଚର ୱାଟର ମାନେ ଫେସିଲିଟି କଣ କଣ ସବୁ ଜାଣିଥିଲି। और फिशरमैन लाइफ लाइन क्या क्या फिश पकड़ा तो जी
Very good, very good. No, you tried, very good. But we got the gist of it, and your emotions are enough, man. And Lalita will fill it up. Lalita, आप उसको ऐड करिए जो राजम्मा कहना चाह रही है, और आपने क्या सीखा इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट में, और आप क्या चाहती हैं कि समाज को क्या करना चाहिए। हमने देखा दिक्कतें क्या है, अब हमको करना क्या चाहिए। ललिता, हम सबको क्या करना चाहिए।
मैम थोड़ा रिपीट क्वेश्चन करेंगे क्या?
मैं बोल रही हूँ कि हमने सुना, आपका भी सुना, राजम्मा का भी सुना कि हमको तकलीफ क्या है, वहां पे कैसी तकलीफें आती हैं, रिवर को भी, फिश को भी, फिशरमैन को भी, फार्मर्स को भी। तो हमको क्या करना चाहिए, समाज को क्या करना चाहिए, हम लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए ये सिचुएशन सुधारने के लिए या कुछ अच्छा करने के लिए। तो आपने जो रिवर्स ऑफ लाइफ प्रोजेक्ट किया उसमें क्या सीखा जो हम अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। ललिता, आर यू देयर?
तो मैम अभी
हाँ, आई एम हियरिंग यू, बोलो।
ओके, तो पहले मैम अभी जो वहाँ पे फिशिंग तो बैन हुआ, उसमें जो लोग माइग्रेशन होते हैं, तो हम फिलहाल हम लोग जो वर्क कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि पहला हुआ कि हम लोग माइग्रेशन के स्टोरीज लिखते हैं।
हाँ,
तो उन लोग बाहर जाकर कैसे काम करते हैं, कितना मुश्किल काम करते हैं, उनका फैमिली का स्टोरी, उनका प्रॉब्लम सब एक एक करके स्टोरी बनाते हैं। फिर उसको
हाँ,
हम लोग पब्लिश भी करते हैं, जैसे कि सोशल मीडिया के दौरान हो या कुछ भी, सोशल मीडिया के दौरान भी हो सकता है। और सोशल मीडिया के दौरान कर कर और लोगों की फ्रेंड्स वगैरह को, जैसे कि आसपास जो माइग्रेशन जो लोग होते हैं उनके भी स्टोरीज को, मतलब उन लोग स्टोरी में माइग्रेशन क्यों हो रहे, क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है उनको, क्यों मछली नहीं मिलती, जैसे कि वो गवर्नमेंट तक जान सके कि फिशरमैन को क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। ये हम कर सकते हैं एक स्टोरी
वेरी
के
गुड।
द्वारा सोशल मीडिया। हाँ
तो आप भी एक्चुअली वही कह रही हैं जो हम लोग वेडनेसडेज फॉर वाटर में करते हैं कि कॉन्वर्सेशंस ज्यादा होना चाहिए, बातचीत होना चाहिए, लोगों की आवाज दूर तक
हाँ
जानी चाहिए। और आपके पास आज तो
हाँ
मीडियम ही है, यंगर जनरेशन के पास ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर मीडियम है, सोशल मीडिया है। तो हम लोगों की बात दूर
यस
दूर
मैम।
तक पहुंचाए ताकि उनकी तकलीफें समझ पाए, और शायद उससे भी एनवायरनमेंट भी ठीक होगा जब लोगों की तकलीफें कम होंगी तो। Very good. So I think we hear from all of you what we learned while doing the project, how you did the project by documenting. I'm sure you will enjoy the fact that documentation is important part of learning about a subject. Documentation is important to understand it. Documentation is also crucial to really disseminate, as Rajamma just mentioned कि हमको दूर दूर तक बात पहुंचानी जरूरी है, क्योंकि ये कॉन्वर्सेशन वाटर होना जरूरी है। जैसे पहले नित्या सिद्धार्थ जी भी ये कह रहे थे कि समवेयर वी हैव गॉन insensitive, somewhere we have forgotten its existence, somewhere we actually put our back while we are designing it or working on it. So we have to really come back and embrace it as it is our, and actually we survive on it. So these become our basic learning. So let me take another round of good questions which is more futuristic, and that will also help us get some direction, because I think your project is also coming towards closure. And you are also aware that river is life. It's not only rivers of life, but river is also life, because if no river, eventually we are also not there. So there's a saying in Hindi, so neer, nadi, nari is very, very important. So neer is water, nadi is river, nari is of course woman. If they are not respected in a society, we are already having serious problem in a society. Okay, so this is a little bit thing from my end, because river is life. One is river of life which you have worked on, but it is life itself. So if we know these concerns, if we know what should be done, and I'm seeing at least 5 young graduates from here, and I'm being very optimistic about it, about future of rivers, future of environment, future of water, and future of women also for that matter, because they go hand in hand, huh? Women and water. So I'm very keen to learn from you and understand how do you see yourself in future, and do you see a possibility of you becoming another water practitioner, water conservationist, water activist, water academician, I don't know, but someone who would like to be associated with water and do something to safeguard now that it has shaken your heart. As I was telling Siddhartha, that apart from head and hand, something which was used in the past was heart. That's why they could build such beautiful structures. Today, we have all the technologies. We use our hand, we use our head a lot. In fact, we use our head too much than we should be using, and somewhere we left our heart behind. So, if you have been shaken by doing this Rivers of Life project, which is in a way river is life, do you see a possibility that it has changed you, or where do you see yourself from, let's say, 10, 15 years from now, when you are a well off person in some organization? What do you see for yourself, and where will water stand in your life from here? Because 10 years down the line, there will be definitely water crisis, and we will not be spared even if we belong to the upper and middle and elite, where we are not facing the crisis today, but 10 years from now probably there will be crisis also for us. So do you really see this as an opportunity also, apart from the water crisis, as a professional opportunity for yourself, or you really think that there are more ways to build career? I mean, it's open, but I just want to understand, how do you now feel more associated with river, and what would you like to do in future about it? So we start again with Raisha, and appreciate if you can keep it short, all of you, so that we can have one good round, because the last round is a little bit gamification of it. Over to you, Raisha.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that question, Nancy. I believe whatever I become, and since I also belong from a literature background now, being a student of literature, I think storytelling is an integral part of all of our lives, and it's
Absolutely.
and taking from what Siddharth and Nitya said also, it's important to sensitize people towards the stories of rivers. So I would definitely see myself as some form of storyteller who would want to bring out stories along in beyond rivers, in the sense that people actually start involving their hearts more over their hand and heart and head. So
Yes.
I would definitely, because these stories move people more than just fact sheets or journals or pieces of scholastic work. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely see myself as a storyteller who would want to, through the stories and narratives of people working towards rivers, spread sensitization.
Even towards water for that matter. And let me tell you, Raisha, I know some wonderful storytellers around the world, and it's a very successful profession, by the way. So if your passion and profession can come together, nothing like it. You are living the life, by the way, huh? Then it's perfect life. Trust me on that. I'm living it, so I can tell you on that. Nitya, where do you see yourself from here? After doing this project and having really touched again the river, which is not there.
um, I mean, whatever is, again, this journey has been impactful. And again, as I tell you, that it has indeed rendered me more sensitive. The thing is, I believe there was some shock, or this some break that we had in all of us in turns, when we started this journey, because I believe a lot of us weren't actually sensitive enough, and probably the quality of work that has come out. I mean, I am surprised by the work of my peers, and I actually feel that, wow, these people are so amazing. I believe all that, and these people actually went to the limits where no one generally does. Like Raisha in her morning introduction speech had told that one boy in Kashmir in the Wooler Lake, the chilling water, his boat turned upside down. He was completely submerged. He saved his camera. I mean, people went to different extents. I mean, why would anyone go into a stinking nala and kind of
Yes.
get pictures of them? So I believe it has been moving for everybody. So I believe if this can happen to me,
Absolutely.
I think I can at least make one ripple around myself that
Absolutely.
uh, so that people around me at least become more sensitive, and this can become a chain reaction. Another thing is that when I was going through all my journey, is that when I was consulting the local activists, one of them is Dr. Bhattacharya, and he is a doctor by profession. He's a surgeon. So a lot of these water activists, they 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 have their own professions, but then they use their resources to get to get their actual cause, which is saving the rivers and helping improve the water quality and the water in general for people. So I believe, I think getting into a profession is, well, whatever it might be. I think I am sensitive enough, rendered sensitive enough to uh, make a ripple around myself. And since my primary objective is to be an army personnel, which I believe the organization is quite effective in actually doing all these tasks. A lot of these tasks are undertaken by the army, of water conservation, river preservation, ecological and biodiversity saving, and everything. I believe that
Disaster and
organization will.
mitigation. Disaster and mitigation also are taken by
Exactly,
them.
exactly, exactly. So I believe that organization is sensitive and is the right space for me to be at, uh, taking in mind the other aspects of my life. So yeah, I would want to be a part of that, and
Very good.
let's discover. I'll
Very
rather discover my journey as
No,
it goes on.
absolutely. But I mean, of course, we should just leave it open in life. And you were mentioning something that it was shaking. And let me add to here the way river wants to be free. If you are left free to do something, and explore and identify and learn, unlearn, we are learning much more and much better, because then we are testing our own limits also. And probably that's what was also one of the key pedagogy of rivers of life, as I am also following the project since it started with Professor Vidya Ramesh. So I think the freedom which was given to you to explore the project also made you really more attached, and go to the extreme to understand it. And that's also the nature of river. Let it flow, let the river flow. If you let it flow, it is. So there is a saying in Hindi, aviralta mein hi nirmalta hai. Means if the river flows, it is clean naturally. So let me just go through Lalita, क्योंकि मैं हिंदी में ऑलरेडी बोलना शुरू कर चुकी थी. ललिता, आप अपने आप को कहाँ देख रही हैं? और आप शायद राजम्मा के लिए भी आपको बोलना पड़ेगा. 10 साल 15 साल में आप अपने आप को कहाँ देखती हैं ये लर्निंग को यूज करने के लिए, और इसको प्रोफेशन भी बनाने के लिए, और उससे रिवर्स में भी कुछ चेंजेस आए, आपके समाज में भी चेंज आए, और आपका नाम भी बने, और आप खूब बड़े इंसान बने. 10 साल बाद मैं राजम्मा को कहाँ मिल रही हूँ, किस जगह मिल रही हूँ?
10 10 साल भी हो कि कितना साल हो कि हम लोग वहीं रहेंगे, मतलब उस गांव में ही रहेंगे, लेकिन मैं खुद का गांव। हेलो।
जी जी, बोलिए बोलिए, सॉरी. हाँ.
हाँ, तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि गांव के लोग का जो प्रॉब्लम्स है वो कैसे सॉल्व हो, और हम लोग के जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स है वो डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट के साथ जुड़े रहे, वो भी समझे। और जो भी अभी एक तो स्कीम है 7,500, लेकिन उससे भी और भी उनकी मदद करने के लिए कुछ करे, और उसके साथ साथ कुछ काम भी दे, जैसे कि खुद का उनका एक अच्छा मार्केट हो। जैसे कि उनका खुद का उन लोग का वर्क है फिशिंग करना, तो उन लोग ड्राई फिश भी बनाते हैं, और उन लोग क्या करते हैं कि जब वो फिशिंग लेकर आते हैं पोर्ट से, तो उन लोग डायरेक्ट जो बेचते हैं वो से ना कर, इंडायरेक्ट जैसे कि बड़े लोग को बेचते हैं, तो वैसे ना अगर खुद का जो मछली लेकर आते हैं वो खुद ही एक बड़े मालिक को डायरेक्टली भेजे, इनडायरेक्टली ना हो, और खुद फिश ड्राइड फिश बनाकर खुद ही भेजे, मतलब खुद का गांव में एक अच्छा मार्केट हो सके और अच्छा बीच हो सके, और ये सब।
राजम्मा क्या करना चाहेंगी इस लर्निंग को लेके? राजम्मा उड़िया में ही बोलिए।
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ମୁଁ ତ ରିଭର ରୁଷକୁଲା ନଦୀ ପାଖରେ ଆମ ଘର। ଆମେ ସବୁଦିନ ରହିଥାଏ, 10 ବର୍ଷ ହେଇଗଲା। ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ମାଇଗ୍ରେସନ ହଉଛନ୍ତି, ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ହେଲ୍ପ କରୁଛି, ହେଲ୍ପ କରିବି। और फिशरमैन कम्युनिटी को कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो इंफॉर्मेशन करें, हेल्प करेंगे मैम।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। ये सबसे अच्छा है कि आप हेल्प करना चाह रही हैं, क्योंकि उस सोसाइटी हेल्प होगा जैसा आपने बोला, तो उससे नदी भी हेल्प होगी और
जी
प्रोटेक्टेड रहेगी। वेरी गुड। आई विल ट्राई टू सम अप व्हाट आई लर्न फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ यू। इट हैज बीन वंडरफुल
थैंक यू
डिस्कसिंग
मैम।
विद ऑल ऑफ यू। थैंक यू। अभी प्लीज प्लीज स्टे अराउंड। आई एम गिविंग you 2 minutes.
थैंक यू मैम।
While I wrap up what I learned from you, you have to come up with 3 to 5 words only. What is river for you and what is a message for younger generation? So 3 to 5 words. You get 2 to 3 minutes of break, because then I'm summarizing what we learned today. And till that time, you are trying to understand what are you going to say. No more than 3 to 5 words. Last round will be there for all of you. Okay, what is river for you and what is your message for the younger generation? Okay, आप दो चीजें बताएंगे हमको लास्ट राउंड में। आपके लिए नदी क्या मायने रखती है या नदी क्या है? 3 से 5 शब्द ही होने चाहिए, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होने चाहिए। और या आपके अपने नए दोस्तों को क्या बताना चाहेंगी टू सेव एनवायरनमेंट, सेव रिवर के लिए? सो थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू, एंड थैंक्स ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स हु आर लिसनिंग टू अस. लेट मी just quickly summarize this wonderful conversation, because it's always a big learning when you are with the younger generation, and you really get the mirror in front of you, or you are grounded when you hear them, how concerned or pained they are when they see what we have created. And I'm taking the onus on my generation, because my parents and grandparents generations things were not that bad. So something has happened in my generation and probably a generation before, where we did something that environment has been really challenged. So, and we saw that these kids are really talking about their own project, right from Patna to Agra to Trichy, to even going to Ganjum to Odisha. And they are really showing their concerns and how human habitation is really changing the way river should be, right from stopping the river to flow, right from dumping the wastewater, dumping waste itself. There is no water in the river, and they have raised these concerns, and they really worked through the project. They have done beautiful documentation. I'm yet to go and see, the exhibition. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to be with them for another 2 more days. So I'm really going to soak myself with Rivers of Life project in the Azim Premji University campus. One of the key takeaway for me from them is that they did realize that there is some insensitivity going around the way we handle the river, but they also realize that somewhere we have forgotten their presence, or we have forgotten their function into its true value. You also heard them talking about fish, talking about turtles, talking about birds. So these are very important, because most of the time when we do river projects, we are constantly talking about river for appropriation of human benefit. And we heard the children talking about biodiversity, talking about life in the water, life in the river. So if they are talking about it, then we also have to address to it when we do such river projects. So mind you, there are many river projects right now going on in the country, and we should be very careful when these children become future water warriors or water caretakers, no matter what profession they choose. But then I think this project is going to stay in their hearts, especially when they say that they are moved, and especially now they are committing on life, so they will also have an extra responsibility to the society. And that's the whole trap we bring people into when we do Wednesdays for water. Let me go to the last round with just I think less than a minute each will get to craft their 3 to 5 words on river and for their fellow youngsters. Raisha,
Quite a challenging question because so
your
much
5 words
about
are over.
rivers. Uh,
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm just joking, but I have to straighten it. Okay, go ahead.
I am
Just say
borrowing this
that
from
the
my
five
normal
words,
speech. I would say
3 to 5 words. Just
continuity as
say those.
permanence is
Okay,
what
go ahead,
rivers do.
Raisha. Sorry, there is some disturbance. Go ahead. I'm saying just don't say anything else. Just tell those words. Okay.
Continuity is permanence.
Okay.
So this is also a lesson for your next question. It also answers as a acts as an answer to the question is in the sense that we should learn and take away from rivers in the sense that we are trying so hard to be permanent in this world in any form to like gather money or to like make monuments and all of those stuff. We're trying to be permanent. Just look at rivers around you and they are flowing throughout. They're flowing for generations. They are models of permanence. So, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
what I
Raisha,
would
I will
say,
stop you here
what I would say
because you
from
are
my side
spoiling
was,
the game. Raisha, I will stop you here. Do not spoil the game because we are not asking for explanation. Okay. Sorry, I have to be really strict because I need to wind it up. Yes, Nitya, just tell those words one line for River and one line for your friends.
Flow, let flow.
Okay.
We are rivers, love.
Okay, thank you. See, for your friends, you can give any message. Come and join us or something, something, just to give you an idea. But we keep it short and we try to understand how difficult it is for us to really get into this complex subject and give them few words, when we are so touched about it. So thank you, Nitya. Very good words. Siddharth, or I can say Sid, we know each other enough for an hour now. Go ahead.
Well, so the first thing I can say about rivers is the word life itself, that
Yeah,
without water there is no life. And again, another thing I think is that rivers connect our past and they connect our future. So
absolutely.
I'd say, yeah. So the water is integral. It's what's connected people throughout time. And again, how we manage whatever resources we have left now, how we adapt to uh, the how we adapt to the coming years is going to really tell on the planet.
Okay.
And I suppose my message for uh, others would be that there is no set of rules that you can follow. But I think it should be how you can find your connect to the planet. And I really believe it's that you should find your own harmony on how to live on planet Earth, how to manage uh, your interaction every day, and
Okay, I
really,
will stop you here because it was a game for few words. Okay, thank you, Siddharth. Lalita, 3 से 5 शब्द से ज्यादा नहीं और no explanation. Okay, thank you so much. It's a difficult thing, huh?
रिवर एक फिशरमैन के लिए सब कुछ है।
और अपने दोस्तों के लिए
दोस्तों के लिए तो मैं दोस्तों के लिए भी है क्योंकि एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं बोल लेकिन मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ कि
बहुत नहीं बोलना
आजकल क्या है कि
पड़ेगा
एग्जिस्ट
टाइम
यस मैम
शॉर्ट में बोलना पड़ेगा आपको.
फ्रेंड्स को भी सीखना चाहिए फिशिंग फिशिंग कैसे करते
फिशिंग कैसे करते हैं, वेरी गुड. बिल्कुल सीखना चाहिए, सबको आना चाहिए. फिशिंग इज पार्ट ऑफ
हैं यस
डोमेस्टिक
यस
दोज हु लिव. राजम्मा, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगी, लास्ट कुछ शब्द?
मैम
मैम
रिवर
रिवर
में
में ओटर और वाटर से जो आप एक्सप्लेन द सोशल मीडिया में शेयर करते हैं.
ओके,
ओडियाला చెప్పు
अपने दोस्तों को क्या बोलना चाहेंगी?
ఎన్ని
ఫ్రెండ్స్ కి చెప్పండి
వినిపించు
वो अपने दोस्तों को क्या बोलना चाहेंगी?
ఫ్రెండ్స్ కి ఏంటి మెసేజ్ చేయాలి
Okay, I think Lalita is still thinking till that.
రివర్
Lalita, you want to say something or Rajamma कुछ बोलना चाहोगी? Okay, I think I thank you so much. I don't want to stress you to speak on that. Thank you, all of you, all the lovely young people, and you give me hope. Honestly speaking, you give me extra life also to live for the purpose of water. We will continue our water conversations towards water conservation through Monday munching with Women for Water, Wednesdays for Water, and Friday waters, as I mentioned in the beginning. The coming Friday, which is November 4th at 5 p.m., we will have water talkies by none other than the Waterman of India, and it's on Vaishvik Jal Prathana, which is a water and river prayer, which is written by him, and it is sung by some beautiful artist and composed, and that will be live and discussed, and why we should all sing that song. And the next Wednesday, which is November 9th at 5 p.m., is commercialization of disruptive technologies and do's and don'ts, and that comes also hosted by CSIR scientist Dr. Mamata Mahapatra. So Wednesday sessions are usually hard sessions discussing science and other aspects of it, and Friday sessions are usually soft sessions. All our details are available at www.w4w.in. Thanks again to all the participants who are listening us live, and all the students who are here. And thank you, Azim Premji University, for having me here to present this conversation with the younger generation and give us hope about it. Do take care of yourself, and bye. And I see you soon in the coming Wednesdays. And please take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
థ్యాంక్ యూ
Thanks
Thank
all.
you, Mansee.